Hey there guys, how you doing? It's Ice9. We're doing a Madden mobile video for positional heroes. I said last week that if we got 98s again, I was going to be mad, and woke up this morning and what do we see? 98s. They went back to 98s. So, reasoning for 99 last week. In my opinion, this is my theory, seems to make sense, is that we had Gronk and domination Von Miller basically from the beginning of the year, which wasn't going to make a 98 linebacker or tight end appealing at all. So they had to make them 99s in order for people to want to do the sets at all. Otherwise, why would anybody, do that? So especially if you've got a Beasley card and it's a 98, basically a pass rushing linebacker, why would you take another pass rushing linebacker with no boost? And then in Gronk's case, of course, Mobile Master Gronk, +5 tack or +5 strength, +5 catch. Why would you take any 98 tight end over that? Although they could have made Olsen's card 98 and just, kept the same stats. It does seem to be somewhat arbitrary, the rating system, but for overall reasons, that's why they did it. So apparently not the case with corner and wide receiver. Although we've had 99 wide receivers, we've got 99 wide receivers with boosts. Super Bowl Rice, there's 99 Super Bowl Julio Jones, there's other cards, the boss Chad Johnson. So at any rate, not that a positional hero should be a boss card or anything like that, but there's definitely a lot of 98 wide receivers. How about Deion Sanders from 3 months ago with a +2 double boost? And just stuff like that. So let's check out Nelson because he is 6'3", which is at least a good start. He's not 5'10" or something like that. 96 speed isn't bad. Pretty agile. Acceleration's just okay. Jump is not good at 89. It's very, very average, I should say. 96 catch. So there's nothing exciting about this card at all. Nothing at all. So it's a placeholder. That's all this set is for me. Put some elite trophies and elite players at the position there, and that's all it's good for. And hope that we get another 99 wide receiver. And I do hope, too, that it'd be great if it was another Jones card, because he would definitely deserve it. Although he does have the Super Bowl card, though, so I don't know. Something tells me there's another Antonio Brown in our future. I hope that's not the case, because even though I love Antonio Brown as an NFL player, we don't need another short wide receiver in this game, especially one of the easily gotten cards. So, but that's what it'll be, probably, knowing EA. All right, so other player here is Darius Slay, 98 cornerback, and this is a position that's not as stacked as wide receiver, I would say, but there's definitely some good cards out there. We've had Mel Blount now for going on 3 months, and he's got a +2 boost and is more physical than this guy. Otherwise, Slay is a little bit faster. In my opinion, what really hurts this card, besides the 98 overall, the stats are actually pretty solid. I mean, play recognition at 94 is certainly respectable. The tackle is good. Speed's good. Strength's good. Acceleration is good and boostable. Man coverage is decent at 94, but not a terribly physical player. He is a tall corner, so that's a good thing, but I'm really not sure if he's going to compete with Peters, who I'm always talking about gameplay-wise. And Peters is less than 500,000 coins. So if you need a quick player on your team, or you need cornerback help, this wouldn't be the first place that I look. But that is just me for sure. So that's it. That's Positional Heroes, and that's very disappointing by EA that they did that. But that seems to be EA this year. They do some things. They've been changing things. They have been actively involved in doing a lot of good things, like getting cheating leagues out, making little gameplay changes and things of that nature. Some of the gameplay changes are controversial. They're very frustrating in the fact that they're changing them a lot. It's good to have to adapt to these things, and it's going to make us all better players, but it is frustrating. But the promos this year have been super frustrating. And so let's go into Unsung Heroes. Apparently this was a pretty good coin maker yesterday, but I was at work most of the day, couldn't really work it. As these things are, when you're working a promo for the first day, it's best to hit it early before the market really sets in and the undercutting for the basic cards that are auctionable starts. So that would have been the good thing to do, but I wasn't able to do that. I did play a stamina refill when I got home last night. Got the 85 card, and he was going for like 30 grand. So, kind of the tough thing with this, the individual players, it's really bogus because they're both the same player, so it just really saturates the market even worse. And the fact that you have to do both of them, I didn't even bother selling this card. I'm hoping he brings more than 30,000 coins. But, when you got the same card, it's just a little bit different stats. One's a good coverage linebacker, a better coverage linebacker than he is a tackler, and vice versa. So you can only play one of them, so that drives up the number of players in the auction house. But the big thing is getting these collectibles, the variant version. And a lot of people, I'm sure, are going to try to turn the player to get the variant cover for Unsung Heroes to put in the Doomsday set. And, thinking about this whole thing, it's, well, if it was a +2 speed, +2 strength player, that'd be awesome. What this is good is it's good for people who weren't able to take advantage of Ultimate Freeze and get the pack unit and get the soft counters. But revisiting this defensive unit, it has the same stats as the pack unit. And there was actually, after the promo, there was the Super Bowl packs, which nobody remembers because they didn't matter, because they were +5 counter chances. And I saw that at that point, and when this setup came out, especially with the January update, where the counters really started firing more frequently, there was a noticeable difference after the January update. I kind of said to myself that they can't really up these percentages much more for the rest of the year, which is kind of a tough thing. Mentioned that in my last video in terms of pacing for defensive units. I mean, how much better are they going to make these things? Were they going to give them +8 and then 2 plays on top of it, hard countered? I mean, what can they really do? It's definitely made the game difficult enough. And I also think, too, even though I've got Ultimate Freeze setup and things like that, that the pay-to-play aspect has already been worked up as well. And, they need to lay off of that nonsense a little bit, that aspect of it. This is no indication that EA is doing anything like that, of course, because this set requires stamina refills to do, basically. I mean, you can only do 2 per week, or you could buy the players and put them in there, so it's going to cost a lot of coins in the economy. So in theory, you don't have to use all those stamina refills, but it's going to cost you in-game currency or stamina refills or have a nice weight is basically what it comes down to. So it would have been nicer in hindsight, I think, if these players, if they would have had two different players. What a concept. And then make them better players, maybe with a +1 boost or something like that. So give the individual players some value and a reason to really grind on the set and finally get the Doomsday defense. Otherwise, you're just getting these players, for most people, that they're just going to sell for whatever, and they're not even that important. And as well, the parts that go into it, too, they're not very high overalls. They're all in the mid-80s. So, they're not worth much either. They're worth a little bit less, I should say, as of that. They're worth most anyways as being pieces of the set, but, that whole junky set having to go into this whole thing, I mean, it's just a lot to do for a week. So, there's not much that they can do, it seems to me. +8 counter chances. If they come out with run and short pass and long and play action like Ultimate Freeze, even if they upped it by 2% per play, say for a defensive unit and for each game card, that would be, it's already full on obnoxious anyways with the counters. It's more difficult and it's more frustrating. And, so they really, got to dial that back a little bit with this stuff. But +2 speed, +2 strength. Let me see here. Tell you what, I'm going to unlock the Doomsday defense right now. So we're going to take Sherman out. And we're going to put Gurley in. He's giving us -1 strength on our team. That's no problem. So basically, it's a 3 strength swing because of that. So we're going to put in 1 strength booster. 2 strength booster. That makes up for Gurley and what he's taken away. Then another strength booster. And let's see, we don't have anybody else. You know what we can do, though? We could do one better. We can also add +2 agility. And there we go. Another strength booster, and we have more strength than that defensive unit gave to us. Of course, if I had the defensive unit, then I'd get even more strength and speed. And then, not everybody's got Gurley, too, so not everybody has that kind of option. But still, it is a bit ridiculous, I do think, the promo. But it was a way for some people to make money, and you assume that the price of the defensive unit's going to go down as time goes on. So that's going to be more available to everyone at a lower and lower cost, assumedly, over time. As long as people don't get too burned out with the promo. Speaking of burned out of promos, okay. Well, first let's give, there's some good news, and I kind of talked about this. So, season stars are up to 96s now. So +1, it's not a big increment. But, gameplay-wise, or stat-wise, I should say, this isn't a terrible card. It's just not a great card either. But if that's what you can do, that's what you can afford, then they're fairly easy sets to do. And then Ramon Foster here, and that's a good guard. I mean, pass block and run block, 93, 92. That's not a bad number. Impact block, we wish it was a little bit higher, but it's a 96 card. So that's the good news. Bad news is no campus hero for the week. And I don't think this is done. I don't know if they just skipped a week or what's going on because of other new promos, but there's no new campus hero for this week. I find it hard to believe that they would basically discontinue the program already. But no new card for this week, so that's bad news. And then here's some real bad news. And I don't know how hard any of you guys are going after Gauntlet, but, here's the deal in my experience. This linebacker event today, It's not the easiest. I've had a bunch of wins of it, spent some stamina refills on it, trying to get there on this whole thing. So now you can see I've done this set 9 times. 9 times. I'm taking players out of the set to see if it makes a difference. I've got 3 players. And the duplicates I've got Gates and I've got Murray 4 times apiece. And quite frankly, at this point, and I know I say, if you make it, well, remember what I said, and I got to remember my own words. The more you make it about promos, this game, the less fun you're going to have. I say it in DEA chat. I say it in my videos. I've learned this lesson the first year playing this game late in the year when it gets really frustrating. And, I worked myself up into a lather today playing this promo. Really did. It's very difficult. The events. Chancellor at strong safety, was just no help to me with Kuechly. And, it's a rough event to play for this old man. So to grind through this thing, and spend my money for stamina refills. And you're going to tell me, what are the odds? Somebody who is really good at probabilities, tell me what the chances are to get 3 cards doing the thing 9 times and getting the same card 4 times a piece. Both of these cards right here. What are the odds of that happening? But like we know with many things, the quarterback collectible from all rookie last year to, some of the actually quarterback collectible this year for all pro, that was probably even tougher. That was a 1 in 30, 1 in 50 pull or something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. But this is just one of those things that, and I've read on Mudhead, some people are having a hard time with Murray and Gates and whatever, but it's just the probabilities and the chances. It's just, we know it's not random. And, it's just got that feeling like you just feel like a sucker spending money on this promo. And with the pack odds being as bad as they are this year, pull rates through live events like All Pro and Gauntlet, which is already a harder set to do with no trade-in set for domination and nothing else. But the pull rates are worse, and the sets are harder to do. So it's definitely got me a bit tweaked at this point. But we'll get through it. Put the game down a little bit, but I don't recommend that anybody but fans of Slay and Jordy, do positional heroes this week. I would, especially if you don't have a lot of coins, I think you want to save those coins for better things that come out. I really do. The new shiny players. And again, guys play better than their stats. There's no question about that. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think any of them have interest for me. They're just a good place to hold cards. And that's basically about it. And that's my video, guys. And not going to do any gameplay today. If there's anything you guys want to see, let me know. Thanks for watching.